Guys, I don't think I've ever been this excited for a project. So what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And yes, this is part 2 of this secret project build. And guess what? I can finally tell you what we are doing, because this will be the final episode. We are going to take this corner here from what it looks like right now to a completely finished project. And I'm using the term fully finished very loosely because, as you guys probably know if you've been watching the channel for a while and you've seen any of our other project videos, these projects typically don't have a very definitive ending. They are always progressing, always changing, always being updated and upgraded, always evolving. However, we will get this thing to a finished state so I can show it off and finally tell you guys exactly what we are doing. But I'm not going to tell you just yet because we have some stuff to get through first. What I can tell you right now at the beginning of the video is that I think that this is going to be the coolest project or the coolest section here at the House of Masks ever. I think that this thing is going to be so cool that it's going to trump everywhere else. I think it's going to be a cooler looking display than the Silent Hill display. I think it's going to be a cooler section than the Halloween section. I think that this is probably going to be my opus, the end-all be-all of sections here at the House of Masks. I don't even know how to really explain this without telling you guys exactly what it's going to be. But we aren't there yet. I have to finish cleaning this up so there is a little bit more of the boring behind-the-scenes work going on before we can really go all out on this. So I'm gonna knock that out real quick. I'll come back when it's time to start setting up, and then we will go from there. Sound good? Sounds good. Guys, who's ready for the fun stuff? I know that I sure am. Real quick, before we get into that, I wanted to let you guys know that in that little construction setup montage that you guys just watched, I hung up a light right here above me. I've actually switched to 2. So I took the one that was in the middle, I slid it over to the right, and then I hung another one up on the opposite side. And that is because while I was getting the look and the tone that I wanted out of that old school yellow light to light this wall up, I wasn't getting enough of it, so I just put 2 up there. It definitely solved the problem, and it looks fantastic for this back display. So let's talk a little bit about what we are doing. I know that everybody has got to be chomping at the bit to find out exactly what we are doing with this section and with this display. And I actually told you guys in the first episode of this video series for this project to go ahead and give me your best guesses, and we had some really good guesses. A lot of people thought that this was going to be a Vincent's Drugstore display from Halloween 4, which is a great guess. A lot of people thought that this was going to be a Distortions Unlimited display, and that is also a great guess. I definitely need a Distortions display around here. And a lot of people thought that this was going to be a display for my grandpa's masks. And what I can say about all 3 of these guesses is that not only are they great guesses, but they are all correct and also incorrect. We aren't just doing a Vincent's Drugstore display. We aren't just doing a Distortions Unlimited display. We aren't just doing a display for my grandpa's masks. We are making a mega project, and I could not be more stoked about it. So before we go any further, we obviously have some empty shelf space that we need to get filled. I have taken the liberty to get some of my distortion stuff already up there to give you guys a proper idea of what I'm going for, but I've got a tote full of masks back here, a bunch of mannequin heads, and a bunch of free space on these shelves, so I think it's time to start filling them up. Let's go. some of the masks that I wanted for this display I had already, but I didn't want to take them out of their current display, so I started hunting for doubles. I figured that that would be another fun part of this project, because us, as collectors, we know it's all about the thrill of the hunt, and I was actually able to track down 3 of the masks that I wanted for this display in one day. So I was able to bring all of these guys home. They are all here now, and I am ready to do some mini unboxings right in the middle of this episode. So the first one that we have comes to us from our friend, Mr. Lorenzo Jolly. I've actually been getting quite a lot of stuff off of him lately, and I have something else on the way here right now from him that is also going to go in this display. It isn't as important as the piece that's in this package, but it will be a cool piece to have in this display nonetheless. So, what do we have? Let's see. I see some sort of like, I thought this was a prison jumpsuit in there or something. Alright, so it's in a striped bag, and what we have here is an old Fun World new skin bird creature mask. And this is one of the famous AJ's Grandpa's masks, probably the most famous for me because the one that I remember him wearing the most when I was a kid and putting his head through a table with other masks on the table. He was actually like the living, breathing mask. He had cut this out and he would paint his face underneath of it. I'll show you guys some pictures right here. And this one definitely had to go in here. I do have his original, the one that is cut, and I do have another copy that is in my Buckethead collection, but since those are already in their respective collections, I didn't want to take any of them out. So I've got this one here. It's going to go right there, and we will get that on a proper head here in just a second because we have more masks to go. Now, this one I think came from eBay, I believe, if it is the mask that I think it is, and we will verify that here in just a second, but I think that this is the eBay score for sure. Pretty small package.
That's what she said!
So it looks like it was stuffed in there pretty good.
That's what she said!
But most of the mask is just a cloth hood, yes. So here we have yet another AJ's Grandpa mask. I don't know why I'm calling them AJ's Grandpa mask. I feel like that's something that you guys would say and not me. I'm referring to myself in third person, and now this is just getting weird. But regardless, this is one of my grandpa's old masks. This is the classic Be Something Studios Fatal Fantasy mask, and honestly, something that I didn't realize until I was talking to Lorenzo about these two pieces is that this might have been influenced by this, or vice versa. I think this one came out later, and it is a skeleton, so I would say that this one was influenced by this one. But look, the wings on the forehead, the nose is kind of shaped the same, the eyes are kind of shaped the same. It would be kind of weird for both of these masks from my grandpa's collection to be related, but obviously produced at completely different times through completely different manufacturers, and they look completely different. It was just something that I was thinking of. And again, this is one of my favorites. I've actually wanted another Fatal Fantasy in my collection for quite a while and just never went after them. They do tend to sell for decent prices, anywhere between like 50 and 100 bucks. But you can find them on eBay, and that's exactly what I did with this. And I actually made an offer on a $55 copy, and I got it for 35 bucks. So we got the Fatal Fantasy to add to this shelf. We'll put that over there. And again, we'll get it on a proper head form in just a second. And right now we have one more mask to open. I will carefully cut the package open. This one is going to be somewhat underwhelming compared to those, but it's probably my favorite out of the 3. What we have here is an old Fun World RIP skull, and this one may need some touch-ups in the future to look slightly closer to the copy that I have. It is, again, one of my grandpa's old masks. It might even technically be considered one of my dad's old masks or my uncle's old masks. I know that one of them got this for a school project where they built a Grim Reaper bust, and this was the mask that they used. But what a classic old skull mask. I love this thing. I love the fact that it has the RIP in the forehead, and it's been used for a ton of different masks over the years. It's been like the bleeding pump skull mask, just all kinds of versions of this. I don't need to go through it. If you're watching this video and you're familiar with these masks, you probably already know. So we will get this on a head form as well, and I will come back to you guys here in just a second when we have this shelf completed.
A few moments later.
Yeah, baby. Look at us go. Now, obviously, there are still some blank shelves, some blank spaces on said shelves, and that's okay because we have more masks to add. Now, not only have I gone over to the storage space and hand-selected quite a few masks to add to this that I think will fit in quite nicely, but we've also still got pieces coming in that I needed to obtain for very specific reasons. Now, one of these, like the ones that are in this box, actually belong in the line of Grandpa's masks. This is going to be the counterpart to this Sri Lanka vampire. So, I only wanted to buy one of these, but the dude that sold them to me actually had 3, and he was so nice that for the price of one, he tossed me all 3 of them. So now I have my pick. Shout out to Brendan. I appreciate you, sir. And we will go ahead and dig on into this, and I will show you guys exactly what we have. So, what we have in this package, I will pull out this one first, because this one is definitely not in the running to be on the shelf. This is a slightly different version than what we are going to be displaying up there. Now, this is the correct mask, but it is a different version of it. They did different finishes, and one of them is just a face mask version that has a shroud. But this one's cool because it is tagged. I've never seen any of these tagged except for the vampire guy that I have. So aside from that, I've never really seen a tagged Sri Lanka mask. So the next one up, I think this is going to be a big copy, which means that this is also not really the correct one. This one also has some aftermarket modifications there with these safety pins added to it. And this one's pretty close to what my grandpa used to have, but again, it's just a little too large. That's what she said. And also the paint is slightly different, which leaves us with one last mask. And that means that this one is going to be the one. I'm actually happy that that worked out that way because I couldn't see into the box and had no idea which order we were going to be pulling those out in. So here is the Sri Lanka mummy guy. I don't really know if it's supposed to be a full-on mummy or what exactly, maybe like a shrunken head eye guy. I don't know. All I know is my grandpa had one of these with this set, and we obviously had a space open here. So I'm going to move these two down. We will get the mummy added right next to the vampire guy because they were always together as a kid and throughout my years of collecting and having his mummy in my collection. And then we will get some more pieces added to the other shelves, and we will just go from there. Alright, so here we go for now on the masks. Obviously, I am going to be adding more until these shelves are fully finished. I do have some in the works right now that by the time this project is done will already be unboxed on the channel and will be on the shelf. I have one sitting on my unboxing table right now that's going to fill this space up right here. And then we just have 2 other shelves left to go. I guess 2.5 because there needs to be some more masks up there. But for right now, this is what we are working with, and I'm content with that. Now, throughout this project, I've been telling you guys that I've taken inspiration from various things. One of them being Halloween 4, which made a lot of people think of Vincent's Drugstore. One of them being my buddy Rudy's collection and a very specific thing in his collection. One of them being my grandpa's masks. One of them being Distortions Unlimited. The inspiration is coming from all over, and I'm inspired by more than just those things, which I've realized over the course of this project. I've been inspired by model railroading. I'm a big model railroad enthusiast, and I really like the whole aspect of trying to do things as accurately as possible in these small dioramas, and I'm also a big fan of aquascapes. I know that sounds weird, but I love aquariums, and more specifically planted tanks. I like for things to look like you just took them out of nature and you just have a chunk of a creek or something sitting in your house. So with all of that in mind, I've decided to go ahead, and here's the big reveal. I am creating my very own make-believe mask shop based somewhere in the mid-80s to mid-90s, and I am super excited about it. Now obviously we've got the mask wall right behind us, but what good is a Halloween store without display cases? Yes, we are going to be filling this display case with all sorts of goodies, and oh my god, I'm just so stoked to see this whole thing come together. But what good is a display case and a countertop if you don't have a cash register? That is right, we are going as official as possible. So real quick, I want to talk about these two pieces, both the display case and the cash register, because these were graciously donated by some family of mine. Shout out to Jamie and Amy. Thank you guys very, very much. And I'm gonna say that this fell into line at the perfect time. This thing walked into my life when it was supposed to. I was really trying to figure out what to do with this weird area. I was debating on tearing it down and removing it. I was debating on making it some sort of studio or something. I didn't know. I just knew that it couldn't sit as a catch-all anymore. And my Aunt Amy texts me and says, hey, do you want this? Before I throw this on Facebook Marketplace, is there anything that you can do with this? And I was like, oh my God, that thing is like the perfect size. That's what she said. So I asked her if she could measure it for me because she does live quite a ways away. And she measured it, and then I measured this room, and I was like, oh my God, it's almost perfect. This is meant to be. We have to do this Halloween store now. So this is really what got the ball rolling, this display case right here. So shout out to my Aunt Amy. Great person, great people over on that side of the Good family, and I am eternally grateful. I can't wait to get this stocked full of cool, creepy goods that you would see in a mid-80s to mid-90s Halloween shop. Who would have guessed? More masks to be added to the shelves here. And of course, this couldn't really be inspired by Halloween 4 and the Vincent's Drug scene if we didn't stick in a Vincent's Drug Myers mask. So this thing isn't necessarily a Myers mask in this context. I just kind of wanted it to be one of the masks that you'd see on the shelves. So consider this the Nightmare Man going into our fake Halloween store. I don't know, it looks pretty cool to me.
Several days later.
Alright, so it's been a while, but we are finally back on this project. Now, we have no shortage of masks. We have been adding masks to this wall behind me slowly but surely over the last few weeks, and I've shot individual videos on just about each one of the masks that we've added here, and we still have more to add. So I'm going to give you guys a break and do the part that I am the most excited for. Out of everything that's going on here, I think this display case up front is what has me the most excited. But what are we going to put in it? Well, a lot of stuff. I've also slowly but surely been stockpiling on things for this display. So we are going to start with these, and these, and these, and these. Oh, and look here, a box from Amazon. I wonder what could be inside. Oh yeah, these. Alright, so here is a little bit of our absolute plethora of things that are going to be going inside of this display case, and the whole idea with what was going to go in here actually started with these sticky eyes. I used to see these in Oriental Trader magazine when I was little. My grandma would have those delivered, and I was just obsessed with these squishy eyeballs. So I ordered a few of these, which I have seen in use at Foy's Costume and Variety Store up in Dayton, one of my all-time favorite Ma and Pa costume shops. So I've got a few of these. We are going to be filling them with various things that would go in them, starting with the sticky eyes. I've also got some earthworms, another idea from Foy's. We've got witch's fingers. I don't know if I've ever seen those in use at another place, but I'm sure that they would go in these jars as well. We've got these little Fun World Easter Unlimited skulls, multiple sizes. And we've got some other random stuff that's going to be going inside there. I'm excited. I think it's going to look fantastic. But for right now, we've got to start getting everything where it needs to go, and then we can start actually putting it into the display. Let's go. That took entirely way too long, but the eyeballs are done and it looks cool. That is exactly what I wanted. I might end up ordering more and filling this maybe closer to halfway up or something, but this is what I thought would be enough for right now, and it took forever. So we are going to move on. Something tells me that the worms and the witch's fingers aren't going to take nearly as long. So let's get these out of the way and then get them in the case and see how they look in there. And the witch's fingers are done for now. Again, I think that I could always go back and put even more in here, and even as I'm doing it, I'm kind of getting ideas, like I could put multiple colors of the witch fingers in here, not just these neon green nasty ones. I could do like the clear ones that they used to have, and all that good stuff. So, witch's fingers done, on to the earthworms. These look really nice, but it's actually kind of bumming me out how little each one of these orders got me. I tried to order more than I thought I would need, and I was very, very mistaken. However, they do look good. I like the way that the colors look, especially with that light there, and I think that they're gonna look even better once they're inside of the case. We'll just have to keep ordering more, because I'm definitely not content with how many's in there. I mean, I guess at a store, this would probably be about how many are in there after people are buying them. I'm sure that they're not ordering these constantly. But for right now, I don't know. Now, the cool thing about these jars is that they're probably always going to be evolving in one way or another. Not only can I just keep buying these as I think of things to add in here, so let's say I wanted to add like spider rings or something, I could just get another jar and start filling that with the spider rings. But I can also start making variations of this. I can toss different bugs in with the worms, I can toss different colored witch's fingers in here, and I can fill and adjust these the way that I want them to be. And what I'm most excited about with these jars is the handmade labels that are going to go on top. So it'll say like squishy sticky eyeballs, 25 cents each, or something like that, and I think that that is really cool and is going to add a very nice vintage touch to this. But for now, we're going to start filling around this. I haven't quite decided the layout, and I haven't even really decided if I want to just keep this case stock or start adding like some creepy cloth or some spider webs to the bottom. I'm not sure about that yet. I'm going to keep studying some reference photos of some vintage Halloween mask stores and see exactly what I want to do with that. But for right now, I'm just trying to get a basic layout down. So I think the next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and just add these skulls in there. And again, I don't really know how I want this to be. Maybe something like this, or even like the opposite. I guess we could take these guys and put them down here, and then throw something like this Distortions Unlimited severed head prop on this side. Maybe something like that. And then I'm still finding stuff to add to this display. This is actually one of my grandpa's real skulls. This has been in his garage for almost the entirety of my life, and I think, you know what? It'll fit in perfect right there. So it's all coming together. I'm sure that this is still going to change a million times, and I don't really know what I'm doing for the back. I thought about getting like a, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 inch tall platform to run back here, and then put some like half masks and face masks back here. Stuff that wouldn't really be on the wall in the background. Just some cheaper little, I don't know, like Be Something Studios spectacles masks or something like that to go in the background of this case. And we've already got some new stuff to add in there anyways. I mentioned the witch fingers, and my dad showed up yesterday with a bag of multicolored witch fingers, so we're going to throw those in there for some variety. And yeah, while I play with this section over the course of the next few days and try to get it situated, we are going to move on to other things. Now, firstly, I have even more masks to add to the mask shelf that is behind me, so here we go. Alright, so the first mask up is going to be this vintage Tor Johnson. We just added this to the collection recently, at the time of me filming this anyways. And this guy is rather large. I don't know if you can tell by placing him next to my noggin there, but he is a big mask. So I think the best place for him is going to be on this higher shelf here with the full head jester and a couple other full head masks. A lot of these masks are just face masks with wigs or hooded socks, and some of them are just face masks, period. So I feel like this full head, being the size that he is going to fit in nicely up here. So we will get him situated, and looks great. We might spread those ones out and just end up doing one more on that other side. I'm not sure what that mask will be, but we are also going to be adding this rainbow Vault Keeper mask from the Vault Creature shop. Now, this isn't a vintage mask, but it definitely has that vintage mask feel. It is done up with a tribute paint job to the Rainbow Carlisle from Don Post Studios, and I just really like the look of this thing. So it's another mask that we added to the collection recently, and it's another mask that I think will fit in nicely here. I think we're going to end up starting the bottom shelf here with this guy, or maybe even sticking him in this display case. I haven't decided yet, but this is another piece that will be added to this section. Alright, so while I work on rearranging things inside of this display case, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Rudy over at the Crimson Ghost Mask Room and tell you guys exactly how he comes into play as an inspiration on this project. So, a few months back, he released a video where he showed off the finished project for something very similar to what I'm doing here, except his was a little more catered to what he knew growing up. So his was more of a vintage trick and novelty shop, kind of like a magic shop, gag shop, prank shop, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of those places kind of intermingled with masks. So you would have horror stuff and Halloween stuff, as well as magic tricks and pranks and just little novelty items. And Rudy built basically his own section of a novelty shop, a little gag shop. And when I saw his completed project, I was just like so inspired to get to work on mine. Now, this is something that I had had in mind for a while, and me and Rudy had even talked about us doing these things, you know, probably 5 or 6 years ago. But seeing Rudy's done and complete, it was just so beautiful and so well put together, and I just absolutely loved the way that that looked. So that kind of kicked me into gear to get going here. So I've been showing you Rudy's little collection here, and if you guys want to head over to his channel and check it out, you are more than welcome to do that. I would highly recommend it. A lot of you guys that are old school House of Masks fans will remember Rudy and the Crimson Ghost Mask Room, because we actually shared the channel for a brief time, and he would upload some stuff here from time to time when he was a little more busy. I think now he is dedicating a lot more time to his own YouTube channel, which is super cool, and he has a variety of stuff going on over there. So I just wanted to shout him out real quick and show you guys a little bit about where the inspiration from Rudy came from with his beautiful vintage trick and gag collection novelty shop type display that he has going on in his building, because I think the Halloween 4 and the Vincent Drugstore inspirations are pretty obvious in my collection here, in my display, I mean, and I think that obviously my grandpa as an inspiration has shined through as well, but you guys may have been wondering about Rudy, and I wanted to give him a proper shout out. So, Crimson Ghost Mask Room, guys, go check him out, and shout out to Rudy, love you, man. Alright, so I think this is looking pretty good. I think we can call this finished for now. It'll probably never truly be finished. I still want to add some stuff into some of the blank spaces there, like the corners. I want to get some more smaller stuff up here in the front to kind of fill in some of these empty spots. And then obviously we've still got a little more work to do with these. I do want to fill these up a little more, and I've got to get the labels on top there, the handmade labels like I've seen in a bunch of other Halloween stores and whatnot. But for right now, this looks pretty good. I went ahead and just put some face masks in the back there. We've got like my old Be Something Studios full line of the Spectacles masks. We've got an old Gerard piece back there. And then I found a decent spot for the Vault Keeper that we just got from the Vault Creature shop. We got a distortion severed head. We got some skulls up here. This one actually belonged to my grandpa. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So yeah, this is looking really nice. And now we are on to yet another thing that I think is going to be pretty fun. Pegboard. That's right, we are about to peg so hard. You're about to see the pegging of your lifetime. Pegboard is definitely a must in a display like this. I don't know if you've ever been to one of these mom and pop shops, but they are covered in pegboards. So, let the pegging begin. Damn, that is one pegged board right there. So yeah, we've obviously got the pegboard up now, and I am quite pleased with it. I really, really like the way that this turned out, especially with framing it in there. I think that it looks a little more presentable than just literally nailing some pegboard to the wall. So I'm stoked with this, and now it's time to add stuff to it. And we are going to start with what actually made me want to add pegboard to this section to begin with. Now, some of you guys might remember a few years back I was visiting the worst place on planet Earth, New Jersey, and on one of my off days I decided to take a trip to a little ma and pa costume shop somewhere in New Jersey. I don't remember where, the whole place sucks. And while I was in there, they were actually moving. They were moving locations. They were taking all of their stock down and putting it into boxes, and I literally stumbled into a box full of brand new old stock horrible skulls from Halloween 4. And for anybody that knows anything about Myers collecting, specifically Halloween 4 and the Vincent's drug scene, these things are incredibly rare. For a dumb little terrible cheap toy skull, these things are just impossible to find. In fact, at the time that I had found this box, I owned 2 of them, and I think I knew one other person that had one. That's how rare they are. So when I found this box, I mailed a couple of them out to my friends, and I kept the rest for myself, and I'm glad that I did, because the whole idea for this pegboard was to run a line of these horrible skulls down this wall. I wanted them to be really close to the front of the counter, just another tribute to Halloween 4, and another thing that I think is going to look awesome in this display. So I did some digging, and I actually found something on Amazon that I like a lot that I think is going to work out perfectly for this. I still don't really know what to call this stuff, but it's just one of those weird things that you would see in the middle of like a Kmart aisle with Hot Wheels or something on it. Yeah, so what we have here are these strips, like these plastic hanging strips. You would put them straight into the corkboard from one of the screws, and then you could just hang stuff off of them. And I think that the horrible skulls are going to hang very, very nicely on these. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a set up and see how it looks, and we will just make adjustments as we go, and then we'll probably hop on into a time lapse of me filling this board up, because I have a plethora of stuff. I still have unopened boxes full of things to add to this. Not sure exactly if we will get it fully full or fully finished. I'm sure that there is going to be a lot of blank space on this, but that's cool because we can always continue adding stuff over the next few years. Why is that phone ringing? All right, so enjoy this time lapse. Brought you guys back here to see a little bit better than what you would see out there, and we are pretty much done for now. And as I said, none of this is really permanent. I mean, everything in this project, from the masks to what's inside the display case to the stuff that's up here on this pegboard, that can all be considered very temporary. I'm always going to be evolving and changing this until I get it just perfect, which will probably never actually happen. But for right now, this is what we've got up there. I really, really, really like the look of this. I really like the look of the horrible skulls. We've got some stuff that was sent in from friends. Tim Cecil sent me this. We've got old like Halloween hunting scores, Mailbox Monday scores, all that good stuff. We've got our little makeup section with all kinds of goodies, different makeup kits here, and maybe these ones aren't as vintage as I want, but again, I can always take them down and add some vintage copies once I find some in the wild. And then we just went like a very Vincent's drugstore scene route. I've got these random mini buckets that serve almost no purpose, but they look cool, and they're very Halloween-y, and I think that they fit in here very, very nice. We've also just got Halloween scary stuff. I mean, it doesn't get much more generic and weird Halloween than that. So I'm stoked on this. I think that this is great, and we are finally in the home stretch. We've literally just got a few final touches to add to this project, and we can call it finished. All right, so one of those finishing touches is going to be framing everything in. Now, as you can see on this side, we've got all of these haunt masks lined up and down that wall. And yeah, those aren't vintage masks, but they look vintage and they fit the part, and they're technically outside of the display. So over here, I thought it would be cool to continue what we already have going with these Scream masks and just hang a bunch of Scream masks. Hopefully most of them tagged. I think this is probably the only one that's not going to have a tag, is that one right there. But the rest will have tags, and I think that that'll really help with the whole vintage mask store vibe, just seeing those tags. This is one of my all-time favorite tags, and this thing has been hanging here since the first open house that we had back in 2021, I think it was? Yeah, 2021. So I think that just means that it's meant to be. That was hanging there this whole time, haven't moved it, and I feel like that is going to really decorate this space and help hide that board and kind of frame everything in. So I'm going to start grabbing my Scream masks with tags and just start hanging them up and see how it looks when we're finished. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. A lot of these tags are kind of bent up and old and aged and weathered, and I think that that really helps the look. For instance, Scream 4. I mean, that's a relatively new movie, definitely not vintage by any means, but because this tag has some wear and tear and a shape to it, it looks like a vintage old ghost face mask there. So I am content with that. Onward! So another part of framing this in that I've actually really liked is these chains hanging here. Now, I had these chains from a Saw skit that I filmed a few weeks back, and I was debating on whether or not to take this out, and in the meantime I just kind of draped those chains over this bar, and I actually really like the way that it looks. So I went ahead and ordered another set of those chains from Amazon, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. I don't think that they are identical, but I also don't think that it matters too much. They are close enough, and I really just feel like little stuff like this is going to help this thing come together very, very well. So we'll drape these over there and see how that looks and go from there. It's a shame that I'm draping these because the tag actually looks really cool, and I feel like that might have fit in pretty well over on the pegboard, but it is what it is. It's like $10 chain. I could just buy some more if I ever really wanted in there. Yeah, bitch!
Yeah, bitch!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally in the home stretch, and by that I mean we literally have 2 more things left to add to this, and I'm calling it done. Finished, complete for now. After that, we can do the big reveal. That's right, there's a big reveal at the end of this episode that's going to bring everything full circle and really, really make sense. But first, we've got to add one of these 2 last items. Now, the very, very last item I have here, I've had it since pretty much the beginning of this project, and the item that we're about to add to this, the second to last item, this has been a real big pain in my ass. But today, something weird happened, so I'm just going to tell you the full story. Now, one of my original ideas, one of the first ideas that I had for this little display was to add a small TV VCR combo to the top of the display case. I wanted this TV VCR combo to play one movie in particular on VHS over and over and over while the display is running, so to speak. A lot of you guys probably know exactly what movie it is, but if you don't, I'll just save it for later. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. So anyways, I started scouting Marketplace, and although though there are some that are perfect, it's Marketplace. I can't even get a response from half of these people, let alone a yes, I'll meet you here. For some reason, Marketplace is the new home of, I'm going to put this thing up for sale that I don't actually want to sell. Weirdest shit ever. Anyways, about a month goes by of me trying to track one of these things down, and I finally get the bright idea to go right next door to my neighbors over at the Chillicothe Antique Emporium, and I should have known way earlier on that he would have something that I would need, and he did. However, it was in this really weird area that was kind of roped off and you couldn't access. It looked like a graveyard for stuff like this. It had boom boxes and computers and TVs, and it was very apparent by the fact that they were on the floor in a basement that they didn't work. So I messaged the owner and I was like, hey dude, you've got something that I need and it's right there. Tell me that it's for sale. He responds and he's like, it's going to be for sale, but it's broken right now. I'm waiting on the parts to fix it. And I'm like, dude, you have to let me know as soon as those parts come in. I don't care about the price. I need this piece. Perfect size, perfect color, exactly what I needed. So fast forward probably another month. He finally hits me up today and he doesn't say anything. Just sends me a video, which I'm going to show you right now.
Michael?
And you're probably wondering, okay, he's got the TV fixed and he's playing Halloween 4 to show you that the TV works. But the weirdest thing about this is, I never told him that I was solely purchasing this television to play Halloween 4 in this display. I never told him that in our messages. Haven't talked to him in person about this thing at all. The only thing that I've said through our Facebook messages is that I needed to buy that TV for a project over here at the building. I don't know how or what the universe is trying to tell me by him using that as an example for the TV being done. Really, really strange, but I thought that it was a super, super cool story, and of course that would happen to me. Stuff like that happens all the time. We are a very full circle, weird coincidence, whatever you want to call these things. The House of Masks kind of thrives off of that energy, so that was just something really neat that I wanted to throw in there. I'm on my way over to the Antique Emporium right now to pick that piece up, then we will get the final piece in place, and then it is go time. Easily one of the funnest projects I've ever done, with probably the biggest payoff. This thing looks amazing. I really, really can't wait for you guys to see exactly what I did it all for. I'm very excited to bring the person in here that we are doing the big reveal for to come in and see this thing. All around, it's just great. So real quick shout out to the Antique Emporium, Chillicothe Antique Emporium over here on Main Street, right next to the House of Masks. That place is amazing. Brian and his wife are super, super good people, and they've always been willing to help me out. They're very supportive of the House of Masks and of Palefest, and they've got a really cool thing going over there. Their atmosphere and their vibe is like nothing else in Chillicothe. So the Chillicothe Antique Emporium, let's go.
A few moments later.
How fucking sick is that? Wait a second. How fucking sick is this? When I went over there, I made sure to ask him if I had mentioned what I was doing with this in any way, shape, or form, and he said no. So it was just complete fucking coincidence that he was playing Halloween 4, not only the first Halloween movie that I ever saw in my life, but also a big piece of this project, and also a bigger piece of this project that you guys didn't even know about until I told that story, because the whole reason I got this unit is to play Halloween 4 right here, continuously, all the time. The world is weird, man. What are we even talking about right now? Do not play with me, dog. Is this not the sickest shit you've ever seen in your fucking life? Oh my god, I'm so excited. This TV is definitely my favorite part of this project. I thought it was the display, but it's the, I mean, look at this. What are we fucking talking about right now? Oh my god. So, the TV is sick. I'm definitely going to have to find something to put right here. I don't like this little gap, but there's gonna be all sorts of stuff around this anyways, little trinkets on the register, and I will find something to put right there. But for right now, we are pretty much good to go. I think I'll check back in tomorrow after I've found something for right there, and we will get the very last piece of this project put up, ready to go, and then I'll show it off a little bit to you guys, and then we will do the big reveal. Look at this fucking thing, man. This is so cool. Right back to my childhood. Oh, God. I gotta go fucking beat it or something. This is too much.
The next day.
Alright, so I went ahead and quickly took care of the little empty spaces that we had on the sides of the television here. I've got some jack-o'-lanterns, little blow-mold jack-o'-lanterns, because we didn't have any jack-o'-lanterns in this display, really. I mean, I think there's like some pumpkin stuff maybe on these logos, but other than that, there's really not a lot of pumpkin love in here, and that is a shame. We need some pumpkins in here. So I've got those stacked up, and I also found this really cool vintage-looking candy bucket, and I just so happen to have some little Halloween-type candies. So we've got eyeballs and Dracula fangs, and I don't know, what is this? Like an ear? We've got an ear in there. So yeah, I really, really like the way that that looks. I think that that definitely filled those spaces nicely without being too much. I also went out and grabbed some little gag stuff. Five Below scores. We got Bugs in Ice, we got Pullback Spider, and I even got a little rat for the cash register because I do plan on decorating this too, maybe sticking like some fake business cards up here and stuff. And definitely have to have some chattering teeth. I don't know why that seems like such a staple to me, but I need some chattering teeth on that. Unfortunately, I went to 4 stores today and could not find any chattering teeth, but I scooped these up also to kind of maybe fill in some of the area right there. So I'm going to quickly throw those up, and then we can put the cherry on this project and really call it complete. Are you guys ready? Well, doesn't really matter. We got to put these up first, but then we will do it. Alright, I know that I said after we added those last minute items to the pegboard that we would be on to the final piece to this project. We would finally have this thing done and over with, and I know that you guys have to be chomping at the bit to see some finished beauty shots of this place, and I'm chomping at the bit to get it done because this has consumed my life for a month now. And I'm also chomping at the bit to get this thing unveiled and revealed to the person that needs to see it. But I just keep thinking of more cool stuff to add. For instance, this blank black wall back here didn't bother me at the beginning of this project. I didn't think that we would ever put anything on it. I thought, you know, maybe in the future I could add like mid-80s calendar, early 90s calendar right here by the cash register, and maybe like a cork board with some business cards or something. But for the most part, I knew that we weren't going to have like a pegboard on it or any mask shelves because I needed this wall for ease of access. It's already hard enough for me as the skinniest human alive to fit my little ass through the display case in the wall, but I somehow managed, and I knew that if I was going to keep it that way and not have to use a ladder to get in and out of this place, that I would have to keep that wall pretty free. It also didn't bother me too much to think that that was going to be blank because when you walk in, you walk from this side and you see the pegboard, you see the masks, you see the display here. You're not really drawn to this wall. But the blank is kind of bothering me now, and I had something that I thought would work well, something that we all know, and that is this guy. He's not going to be in the way. He's going to kind of break the wall up a little bit, and it's a classic Halloween shop thing. So I think he's going to fit in there nice, and we're going to get him thrown up, and then I promise we are on to the final thing, I swear. All right, easy enough, right? All right, It's time. Are you ready to bring this thing home? Are you ready to fully understand? Are you ready for it to all make sense? We weren't quite doing a full-on Vincent's drugstore scene. And we weren't just making a spot for my grandpa's masks. We weren't doing a place to just house my distortions collection. All of this became one giant hybrid dedication to my grandpa. Yes, wholesome content gang, rise up. If this isn't about as full circle as it gets, I don't know what is. We were able to squeeze so many things into this one project that all have ties to each other and that all make sense, and we did it in the name of my biggest fan. One of my all-time favorite people on this planet, my grandpa, and the cool thing is, he's still alive. He gets to come in and see this whole thing without knowing about any of it. It's going to be a full-on surprise that we built this entire tribute to him. So, to tie it all together and really make it all make sense, I had my buddy Tyler Isom create a logo for our faux mask shop, a logo that is obviously dedicated to my grandpa Dean. Funny enough, Dino's mask shop had the best ring to it, but the only person that I've ever heard call him Dino is my grandma, so it's even more special, honestly. It all just worked out and made sense. So the last thing that we have to do is to hang this sign, and we are calling it complete. Now, obviously, there are going to be lots of changes on this thing throughout the years. I'm already expecting some cool new vintage stuff to get added to the pegboard and some other masks and whatnot that are definitely going to be in here. But for the time being, I'm ready. Ready to show this thing to my grandpa, ready to present it to you guys, and ready to have it out there. This is one of my all-time favorite projects. Definitely my favorite spot in the House of Masks right now. This is just way too cool, and I absolutely love it. I hope my grandpa feels the same way, so I guess there's nothing left to do but to get this sign hung up, shoot some beauty shots of this thing, and then do the big reveal. Papaw Dean, I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I am so thankful for the role that you have played in my life, and I don't want to cry, so I'm not going to say anything else. Just know that I would not be the same person without you, so I love you very much, and this is all for you.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
I think keep hanging it up a little bit.
What we got here?
It's the baby.
Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Hi, Butcher.
You wanna lock it?
Nah, I'm going back on.
Well, you're a pretty little girl, ain't you, huh?
Oh, my God.
Welcome to Dino's Mask Shop. How can I help you?
Oh, look at this. Damn, look at this.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool shit, buddy.
Are you stoked?
Yeah.
Did you see the sign?
Huh? Come here. I love you, bud.
Love you too.
Damn, look at this shit.
The longer you look, the more impressed you're gonna be. Cause
Oh, I didn't bring my damn camera.
that's what he's worried about.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, you're in luck.
I'm glad it won't be video. It's great, man. Look at this.
Look at his swagger right now. Trash bag goes to beanie, House of Mask windbreaker.
Damn.
We got all the stuff. I've got your skull.
Yeah.
I got Halloween 4 in here.
I was not looking at that.
I got this thing. I got all your masks.
Look at that shit, man. Yeah. That's it.
You got your own section.
Damn.
You got
look
your
at
own
that.
mask store in a mask store.
Yeah, I think bad too. Michael Myers.
Yep.
Damn, son.
Been putting work into this one.
You made me so fucking proud. Damn. Look at this shit.
But seriously, if you're not gonna buy something, you're gonna have to get out.
I have to get out. What do you want to sell? You want to sell none of that shit.
This has been the project. This is why you haven't been able to be a patron.
Ah,
Because I've been posting this for all the people.
damn. I'm impressed, buddy. Really.
Good.
It's cool.
I had to pay tribute to you before you're dead.
Yeah.
'Cause that's probably soon.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
I'll be around for a while. I'm going to aggravate you some more.
I had to tie in Halloween 4 as much as I could.
I know.
Makes sense.
I'll think about Halloween 4 all your time. You know, that's something I don't have. A Halloween 4 mask.
Wink, wink. Hint, hint.
If you're going to throw one away, you know.
Yeah, well, you know,
I hate to buy
I'll just
none
be
now.
throwing masks away.
I mean, I hate to
House of Trash.
buy one now because all the others have been free.
I could get you a Halloween 4 mask.
I know it. No hurry.
All right. Thanks.
But see, I thought about doing that. Making a Halloween 4 little section.
You should.
And thinking about me and you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Big reveal.
Damn. I love it. I
Yeah.
can't help it.
You got anything to say to the people?
I love it. I do, man.
All right, there you go.
I'm really, 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 really impressed. I'm proud, bud. I'm so proud. I'm tickled.
You had to hold that off for the camera or what? He's crying. He's crying. I had to pay him like $200 to fake it, but he's crying.
They fake.
All right, ladies and gents, there you are. There you have it. Dino's Mask Shop is now open for business. We can put this project behind us, and by that I mean we're done with the video. This will always be changing, always be evolving. I'll always be adding things to it, trying to make it cooler and cooler, but for right now, I'm good with it. My grandpa seems stoked. I'm very happy with the project. I'm very happy with the turnout. Everything about this has been really fun to put together, and obviously the way that it turned out is amazing. This is hands down my new favorite spot in the building for sure. As much time and money and research as we dumped into this, I think that it was definitely worth it, and I'm very, very happy. So yeah, there we go. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one, but we pretty much covered the entire project from start to finish. Part 1 seems is extremely obsolete compared to this, and almost irrelevant at this point. So yeah, hopefully we can do something extremely similar to this in the future, and we will obviously do some sort of update series on this throughout the years. Maybe once a year we'll come back to this and just show the things that have changed and show how it's updated. And real quick, I've got to give a big shout out to everybody that was involved. Anybody that made a deal with me to get a specific piece into this section. Shout out to Ben and Doug, who both came and volunteered some time and did some work. Doug actually saved this case. We were having some electric issues, and Doug came in here and took care of that in an evening. Ben obviously helps with just about everything. He did the shelving units. He helped me with the brick facade back there. He built the pegboard. He did a lot of stuff. Shout out to Jamie from the bike shop for the cash register. This thing is awesome. Shout out to Brian over at the Chillicothe Antique Emporium for not only selling me this thing, but fixing it, getting right back to brand new. He replaced all of the belts and stuff on the inside, so this thing should play for a long, long time. Anybody that I'm forgetting, I really, really do apologize, but there are so many people that were involved with this, and just know that I appreciate you. So, I think that that is going to just about do it. Until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks, telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to nostalgia, and we'll see you guys in the next one.